We are used to looking at our global maps as a stable, comforting layout of green continents separated by blue oceans. But geological history reveals that our solid ground is merely a temporary luxury allowed by a fragile planetary thermostat. What would actually happen to human civilization if the global water volume triggered a catastrophic expansion, drowning the world under a single, endless ocean? Hollywood always visualizes this as a sudden, dramatic tidal wave that clears out cities in a matter of seconds. But the real physics of a completely flooded Earth would be a slow, terrifying, and chemically bizarre transformation of our entire lifestyle. The first question we must ask is simple. Is there actually enough ice on Earth to completely drown our highest mountains? If every single glacier in Antarctica and Greenland melted tomorrow, the global sea level would rise by roughly 70 meters. While 70 meters is not enough to submerge Mount Everest, it is more than enough to wipe out every single major financial capital on Earth. New York, London, Tokyo, and Jakarta would permanently disappear beneath the waves, forcing 2 billion climate refugees to run for the hills. The map of human power would be redrawn in a single weekend, transforming coastal paradises into radioactive, flooded graveyards of concrete. As the water climbs higher, human architecture would face a brutal engineering enemy: hydrostatic pressure and buoyancy. Our modern skyscrapers are built out of hollow concrete frames designed to press down heavily into solid bedrock. But when a city is flooded up to its 20th floor, the hollow spaces inside the buildings act like giant air bubbles. According to the laws of buoyancy, the water would try to lift the entire skyscraper up, tearing the concrete foundations away from the earth. Our proudest architectural achievements wouldn't stand as silent underwater monuments. They would snap, shatter, and collapse into massive piles of floating debris. A global flood would do more than just change the scenery. It would completely break the engine of global weather. The arrival of trillions of tons of fresh meltwater would dilute the salt concentration of our oceans. This sudden drop in salinity would instantly shut down the global ocean conveyor belt, the system that moves heat around the planet. Without these currents, the northern hemisphere would plunge into an immediate, brutal ice age while the equator boils. The flooded Earth would become a planet of extreme horrors, a boiling global ocean at the center, surrounded by massive walls of solid ice at the poles. The water covering our drowned continents wouldn't be the beautiful, clear blue water of a tropical holiday. It would instantly transform into a highly toxic chemical super soup as it swallows human infrastructure. Millions of gas stations, chemical plants, sewage systems, and plastic factories would leak their contents directly into the shallow sea. Billions of rotting trees, drowned farm animals, and organic waste would consume all the available oxygen in the water as they decompose. This would create massive, stagnant dead zones where no fish or marine life can survive, turning our global ocean into a foul-smelling swamp. But where human biology fails, primitive evolutionary life forms always find a way to thrive. The combination of warm equatorial water, rotting organic matter, and heavy chemical runoff is the absolute perfect paradise for bacteria. Massive continent-sized blooms of toxic blue-green algae would coat the surface of the global ocean like a thick carpet. These algae sheets would block whatever sunlight is left, killing off the deep-sea plants and starving the remaining marine ecosystem. The kings of the flooded Earth wouldn't be majestic whales or dangerous sharks. The planet would be completely ruled by layers of toxic green slime. For the surviving remnants of humanity, life would shrink down to a brutal, high-tech nomadic existence on the water. Without land to mine metal or grow crops, our entire industrial economy would collapse into a primitive recycling loop. Fresh drinking water would become the ultimate global currency, harvested painfully through solar stills and rainwater collectors. Human communities would live on massive, interconnected floating cities made out of repurposed plastic and cruise ships, drifting aimlessly with the wind. We would become a marine species, looking down through our glass floors at the buried ruins of a mountain civilization we used to call home. The only true permanent real estate left on the planet would be the isolated peaks of our tallest mountain ranges, now turned into tiny islands. Places like the Swiss Alps, the Andes, and the Tibetan Plateau would become the crowded, high-altitude fortresses of human survival. Because soil is thin and weather is freezing at high altitudes, agriculture would be restricted to vertical indoor labs powered by wind turbines. These mountain islands would hold the absolute final records of human history, art, and science, completely isolated from each other by thousands of miles of toxic water. To visit another human being, you would need to cross a silent liquid desert, praying your solar-powered boat doesn't get swallowed by a toxic storm. In the end, a completely flooded Earth is a chilling reminder that our continents are not permanent structures. They are a gift from a stable climate. Water is the ultimate solvent, an indifferent force of nature that doesn't care about our borders, our economies, or our digital achievements. If we do not protect the delicate atmospheric balance that keeps our polar ice caps frozen, the ocean will gladly take back the land it once owned. If you were forced to pack just one single backpack of belongings before the water swallowed your hometown forever, what would you save? Please share your survival strategies, engineering theories, and climate arguments down below in the comments section. Thank you so much for watching this long environmental simulation until the end. Don't forget to click like, and see you again in our next hypothetical world breakdown.